over the past, 8 to 10 years, just like with polyamory, there more information has been coming out about the autistic spectrum, and as far as like more the minutia of like, yeah, you may exhibit these traits but not these traits, and but that, and like to different degrees, and so it's so yeah, more information about it has been coming out, so more people are more familiar with it, and it's not as much a, well, the only representation we have for it is Rain Man. It's like those days are gone.
Welcome to Normalizing Non-Monogamy, the podcast where we interview incredible people from all over the world to hear their personal journeys of self-discovery through the lenses of love, sex, and relationships.
Our mission is to show people that they're not alone and to inspire them to embrace their true selves so that together we can open minds and live authentically without shame.
We believe everyone's story is powerful and beautiful, yet it's important to remember that everyone does life a little bit differently, and that the views and opinions expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect our own.
Additionally, we aren't doctors. Please consult a medical professional for anything regarding your health that you might learn about on the show. Enjoy!
Welcome to episode 415. We're Finn and Emma, and today we have a fun conversation with Ryan. He's been practicing non-monogamy in different ways for about 14 years and shares his pretty incredible journey with us today.
Yeah, Ryan actually takes us through pretty much his entire relationship history, all the way back to high school, as he shares his experiences and some of the challenges he's come up against trying to figure out relationshiping as someone with undiagnosed autism. As you'll hear, it's only been about 6 years since he realized he was autistic, but that didn't stop him from finding resources, strategies, and tools for himself along the way. So thank you, Ryan, for reaching out to us, for coming on to share your story with the world. We're super grateful and had a great time chatting with you.
Yes. For anyone who's a premium subscriber, we're going to jump right into the interview with Ryan now. And for anyone else, we're going to go through a few announcements. First up, our premium subscription. If you're not familiar with this, it's a way to skip these announcements up front, but don't worry, you still get important dates of upcoming events in the outro. To sign up for the premium subscription, go over to our website, normalizingnonmonogamy.com, scroll down on the homepage, and you can sign up right there for $4 a month.
And one of those important dates that you don't want to miss is coming up on November 21st. Our virtual speed friendings are coming back. We've been hosting these for years and years, since early in the pandemic.
Since early 2020.
Yep, we were on a bit of a summer break that lasted a little bit into the fall, as it goes.
Yes.
But we're back, and we're excited to see you all on November 21st. If you're not familiar with our speed friending or our virtual speed friending events, they're a great way to meet like-minded people from all around the world in a low-pressure and fun environment. We use Zoom. We create breakout rooms. We ask you a question. We send you to the breakout rooms for a few minutes with a small group. You talk about that question. We bring you back to the main group. We ask a new question. We scramble the rooms, and we do that over and over for about 2 hours. And by the time you're done, you leave with a whole bunch of new friends and a pretty big smile on your face.
Yes, it's a super fun event. To sign up, go over to our website, normalizingnonmonogamy.com. The banner at the top of the page, you can sign up there or go to the events tab. More information is right there. Please come join us on November 21st.
We'll see you then. Next up, we want to tell you about our virtual community, which, don't get confused, it's not the same as the virtual speed friendings.
However, a lot of community members join the speed friendings, which is amazing.
So it's a great way to come and check it out. But our community is full of over 300 amazing people from around the world who socialize and support one another every single day. We host our community on a platform called Mighty Networks. We have monthly community support calls, as well as monthly virtual workshops and in-person events as well, all for less than $8 a month. In case you're curious, our next monthly workshop is coming up on November 13th, and it is called How to Choose a Pleasure-Based Life with Crystal Baldwin. Again, these are virtual workshops, so you can join them from anywhere in the world. And if you happen to hear about this afterwards and like, damn it, I really wanted to listen to that one or come to that workshop, well, don't worry. We have all of the recordings from all of our workshops from this year, and all of them that are coming up are available in the community, so you can find out more information about what workshops we've had so far this year and what ones are coming up the rest of this year over on the let's say probably the workshops tab of our website.
Yes, all of the information is there. We also want to remind you all about our upcoming next in-person retreat, which is going to be May 1st to the 3rd, 2026. Now, you may say, that's a little ways away. Yes, however, early bird tickets are non-sale now for our community members. We're calling this Relationship Recess. It's going to be a blast of a weekend. You can find out more over on our website as well.
Yeah, under the community tab, if you scroll down a ways, you'll find a link there for a like 15 to 18 page PDF program guide of the event. And yeah, like we said, you can, if you want, join the community, which gives you access to early bird tickets. Tickets for the public will be going on sale on November 1st, but this is a way to get ahead of the game, save a little bit of money, and join the community all at once. And we would love to have you join us.
Next up, we wanted to remind you all, as we do every week, about our favorite way to get tested for STIs. It is stdcheck.com. This is a service Finn and I use. We've been using it for years. It is discreet and simple to use. Using the links over on the resources tab of our website saves you $10, making a 10-panel test only $129, and you support the show in the meantime. So thank you in advance for using those links, and thank you to anyone who's used them in the past.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
And lastly, we wanted to remind all of you, you can reach out to us, send us a voicemail, send us an email over on the Contact Us page of our website. If you'd like to be a guest on the show like Ryan, we would love to have you come join us, and we do an interview. So reach out to us, send us a voicemail or email.
And you can also email us if you have questions or feedback about the podcast. But really, what we want is for you to come on the show to share your story, because that's how we do this every single week with people like you, people like Ryan. So once again, thank you, Ryan, and thank you, listener, for being the next one to email us.
And with that, let's go and talk with Ryan. Welcome to the podcast, Ryan. We're excited that you're here today. We know very little about you, which is great because we're going to learn a lot more today. And we're excited that you're here. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to contribute to this great platform you guys have started.
Yeah, thanks for, as Emma said, thanks for reaching out and offering your story. We'd love to maybe just start with a quick intro of who is Ryan, what inspired you to reach out and tell your story today.
Yes, as I said, I'm Ryan. I'm 44. I live in Cheyenne. What inspired me is that I'm autistic, and I mentioned that right at the beginning just because of how much it's shaped and colored my life experience, and how much I just wanted to share how much that has actually tied into my orientation of being polyamorous, which I've been purposefully practicing for 14 years.
Yeah, well, we're so grateful that you did, and like you mentioned in your email, you've heard a few other autistic folks on the show, and we love giving that voice, because I think as we've done this more and more, we've learned there's more and more people who are all over the spectrums of neurodivergencies, and we love to be able to talk about it and put a spotlight on it. So thanks for reaching out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, maybe we go back in time either 14 years ago or maybe before 14 years ago to figure out what happened around that time that brought non-monogamy into your world.
Yeah, I definitely want to go back further than 14 years.
All right, let's do it.
Great.
So I was hanging out in eternity. All of my dreams became real the instant that I have them, and then I got pulled into the womb of the womb. No, it's first, the roots of this really I noticed back in high school when I would start dating a girl, and then like inevitably, like 2 weeks later, I would meet someone else. We would connect totally differently, and there would be I'd have a cognitive dissonance. Like, wait a second, this person over here, she fascinates me in these ways, which has no bearing on the way this other girl I connect. But wait, the societal conditioning of the soulmate and all that is like, wait a second, these things don't quite connect.
Yeah.
and high school being the way it's, with everything being fleeting, and attention deficit, ooh, squirrel.
Yeah.
Kind of being, didn't stick around long enough for me to really investigate that, and because of my challenges with communication, being autistic, did I had difficulty kind of like vocalizing that situation, and so yeah.
Yeah. And you're also in high school. I want to say,
Yeah.
like, these are like, you're figuring out some of your first relationships.
Yeah.
And it's hard when you're like, I don't, like you said, it was, you didn't know this isn't what you're shown in the movies.
Right.
Right.
And to kind of build off of that, as I went into my 20s, one of my big challenges that continues to this day is that I cannot read like nonverbal or social cues. Like, it would be easier for me to solve a Rubik's cube with my feet while blindfolded.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and so as I got into my 20s, it's just I was, it's the blind leading the blind. And so I was like, so I just went off of what they showed in TV and movies. And by week 6, which that's pretty much like the lifespan that the TV shows and movies cover, is the courtship process.
Yeah.
And once I reached week 6, I'm like, wait a second, I have no work. I hit a wall.
Yeah.
And so then I would approach them, in like a big ball of anxiety, and because it's like, okay, I have no idea where to go from here. And so then I would start asking questions that current day polyamorous would call an initial relationship check-in.
Okay. Yeah.
And even I could tell that the look on their face was like, okay, what's the quickest way out of this conversation? And all but 2 ghosted me at that point.
Wow.
Like, 2 of them actually sat me down and had a breakup conversation. And so for like the first half of my 20s, I'm like, okay, I'm obviously doing something wrong.
Which is so crazy, because if you look, I mean, I'm guessing now you look back and be like, wait, a relationship check-in conversation, that's
Right.
that's like an amazing thing to be doing, but you're sort of doing it intuitively, and it's
Because you
freaking
didn't know
people
what
out.
else to do.
Right.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, my brain needs direction here.
Yeah.
It's like my brain needs like direction as far as what's the shape of this thing and what are the parameters. And of course, this is, I'm 44 now, so do the math of of year, kind of like the year range of when that took place, and what kind of information was available out there.
Yeah, I'm guessing
Not a lot.
Yeah,
Not
I'm
a
guessing.
lot.
So you're right around 2000-ish, somewhere in there, late 90s, 2000.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which I don't know. I love that you're bringing this in already, because this is, we've talked to, I remember specifically when we talked to Alyssa Gonzalez, who wrote a book about neurodivergency and non-monogamy, and so much of what she talked about was exactly this, that like the stuff she was doing was so intuitive and so helpful when you're in non-monogamous relationships, but it's so many of those skills that they sort of just get washed over in monogamy, because there's so many assumptions that you can make. But I love that you're saying that, like, even monogamy was like, what the fuck? What are we doing here? I don't have a roadmap for where we go beyond week 6.
Right. And so after about 6 years of that, I was like, you know what? If this is what trying to be in a relationship is like, I'm out. Which that's a lot more charitable than what I was telling myself at the time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious, what was the story at the time?
Oh, it's like, what I was telling myself is like, oh, I clearly have no business being in a relationship whatsoever. Which, again, that's not giving myself that much grace. And I'm sure that, and then the following 6 years, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do stuff that I enjoy doing, which I'm sure that, that having not done that, look, again, hindsight being 2020, I'm sure, I wasn't doing much work, in that area up until that point. So I'm sure, not approaching kind of like quote unquote as a whole person, or not having done that investigation kind of had an effect on my experience of trying to have a relationship. But I mean, there's so many variables.
Yeah.
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 And so where did this take you? So you take about 6 years of trying this, beating your head against the wall, trying to make relationships happen. Then you're like, okay, fuck it, not for me. / I must not be. I don't know. I must not be able to do this. But where do you land after that sort of phase?
Yeah, then I started going to like music festivals and things, and going camping and things of that, and going to live shows and things of that nature.
Just doing things that you enjoy doing.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, meeting cool people along the way, but not having any kind of expectations as far as work. Like I'd say like 99.9999999% of them went nowhere beyond the event that we met at, and so
yeah.
And then but what I got, and I was like I was age 30. I noticed I was getting thirsty again.
Yeah.
And so I at that time Craigslist was still being used for personals, and I discovered OK Cupid, and I was I'd been deep into podcasts since like 2007, and I a sex positive podcast came that is currently defunct, came across my screen and it had sex and nerd in the title. I'm like, okay, those were two of my favorite words, this can't be that bad. And the first episode I came across was an interview with Chris Ryan.
Okay.
And so I went out, bought sex at dawn, and sat down around like 8:30, thinking, okay, I'll read this for a couple hours, I'll start to doze off, and I'll go to sleep. And that's when my hyperfixation hit me in the face like a ton of bricks.
I bet.
After page after page, not getting tired, after page after page, and I get about 2/3 of the way through. I reach the end of a chapter. I'm like, okay, that's a good spot to, and then I looked at the clock for the first time since opening the book. It was 5 a.m. And then I'm like, okay, I should probably get something to eat, and clearly there's something that I need to pay attention to here.
So you finished it over breakfast, I'm assuming.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, that opens up a whole new world, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that and then I don't know if it's written down, but I mean, I think after like 2010, there was like a rule of the internet: if something exists, there's a podcast about it. So yeah. So I mean, again, this is 2011. So again, not too many resources.
Yeah.
But there was one podcast that I remember, again, currently defunct, and I found some blog posts, and so I'd start devoured those. And it's like, okay, they're speaking in a language that kind of resonates with how my brain naturally naturally works, and same with how the blog posts were written. I'm like, oh, okay, now I actually like need to meet people, because I mean, yeah, like researching this stuff is fun, but I mean, you gotta put the rubber to the road.
Yeah, eventually, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious, real quick, Ryan, the two podcasts that you found, just for anybody listening who might want to go dig into them. Do you mind sharing what the names were?
Yeah, the first one that it was Sex Nerd Sandra.
Okay. Yep.
And then the other one is Poly Weekly.
Poly Weekly. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I think you might still be able to get episodes for those, maybe. So yeah, just people listening. Well,
I haven't looked recently.
Yeah. Well, if I can find links, I'll put them in the show notes. So just letting everybody know.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So it was okay. So it's time. You've done all the theoretical reading and listening,
or some more,
or some of it, some more of it.
Yeah. I want to actually, before we move on, this like reading of Sex at Dawn, Christopher Ryan, like for you, I guess it seemed like it very much awoke something in you, like maybe I'm not alone type feeling. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah. It's even more like basic than that. It was just more like a confirmation of human nature. Like going back to my experience during high school, like it felt very natural to me to have attraction for these two separate girls and not feel any like shame about it. But I mean, just so like is more of like a cognitive, as I mentioned, it was a cognitive dissonance of like, wait, this this collides with our social programming. So it was more a deeper genetic confirmation of what it's like to be human.
Yeah.
That you can look back and be like, oh shit, I was doing humaning, right? I was feeling what we're supposed to be feeling, but I'm being told I shouldn't be feeling those things.
Right.
Yeah. That's super powerful to be. I can imagine that's why you stay up till 5 a.m. reading.
Yeah, it's just like, wow, this confirms like what I've been feeling my entire life, but haven't had like the social confirmation of, yes, this is true.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's you dig into that and all of the couple podcasts, the couple resources you found.
Yeah.
And then what?
So I found a meetup in the city I was living in, which was Denver at the time, and so they like that weekend or weekend following they had like a mixer meetup, like having drink someplace, and they're just having casual conversations with people. There was a lead that I'll circle back to later, but like, and again, this it was just validation of it's like the interactions that I had was very validating, and everything was just like really resonating with how like my brain naturally operates, and I hadn't like connected with anybody of like note that would make me think that, okay, this is going to lead somewhere. But on my drive back home, I'm like, okay, now I have to come out to my family.
Wow. Okay,
Right.
That's quite a jump of like your first experience meeting people, but it sounds like it resonated so much. You're like, no, this is me, and now I need to share.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, as I said, I had no prospects at the time, and I from, I think a lot of people would think it's like, well, you have no reason to come out to my family. I don't care. This is how I'm living my life from now on. So I might as well tell them now when I don't have anybody, when I don't have to include like meeting another person into that conversation.
Yeah.
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 Or people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or people. Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that, right? I love that you like it landed so much in one mixer that you're like, shit, this is what I've been looking for. Like, this is me. This is how I'm doing it from now on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So did you tell your family?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Thankfully my family's pretty like progressive, not necessarily politically, but kind of like, open-minded. Like my mom she made a point of not raising us in a religious household. And so she left a lot of stuff up to me and my two brothers to kind of figure out. Just to give an example of that, like I would when I was 12, so we're talking junior high, and I'm like asking like all of these hefty questions, and she gives me Illusions by Richard Bach. which at the time was like, which I learned later was actually part of like they would you use that on like college level philosophy courses. And much like I mean it's not like the language wasn't dense at all, but the concepts were.
Yeah.
And I totally got it at that point. And after I was 12 when I was reading in one of his, I think his autobiography, Bridge Across Forever, he mentioned that he was a pilot by trade, and so like he said he only wrote when he was being dragged kicking and screaming to the notebook. So anyway, kind of that kind of feeding into kind of like the whole context.
Yeah.
And when I told as I was going, I was thinking of like how would I what would my response be to this possible thing, and all of it. And so I was building up all of these like backup backup plans and all that. And so I talked to my mom and brother separately, just because I didn't want to deal with responses from two totally different people at the same time. Dealing with social interactions one-on-one was tough enough in that kind of context.
For sure.
And so I gave her the whole speech, and she's like, okay, are you going to be safe? It's like, yeah. Well, if it makes you happy, I mean, go for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Question.
That was the end. That was the end. Like, no more questions.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I can't. I feel like there's not a whole lot better you could ask for in a moment like that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And then when I took my brother on a walk around the block, and so I kind of did whole thing. I had less worries with him, just because it's a difference. With your parents, it adds this whole layer.
Yeah.
And he said when I was done, he was also into podcasts, and like what one that he was listening to at the time. I don't know if he still does, but it's called Making It Weird. And at the time, they had an interview with someone that that talked about polyamory, which I thought was interesting. So yeah, he had a kind of similar response. It was like, yeah, you do you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds like he had some sort of exposure to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Well, and so how does it go when you start I mean, what does starting to explore this look like for you after this mixer?
Actually, during the mixer, this is the lead that I circling back to.
Yeah.
I was talking to a couple people, and then off to my side, I there's another conversation, and it's just part of like the din of the room. But then two words just suddenly peek out: cuddle party. Hold on, what was that? and so she explained the whole premise. It was like, okay, when, where? Where do I
Yeah.
sign up?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I said this publicly many times. I am a cuddle slut.
Well, and what a great, I mean, I would just throw some weight behind this. We've gotten to know some cuddle party facilitators out here in the Bay Area and actually around the country, and such a powerful experience to be able to go and because it's not just show up and cuddle. There's at least for these ones, there's an opening circle. Here's how we're going to navigate this. Here's how consent works. Here's
container setting.
yeah, and then you practice saying no, you practice asking, and all of this stuff happens, and then there's the cuddle party, right? And so what a great opportunity to learn a whole bunch of new skills and then practice them, and then actually get to experience the physical touch and then practicing
Connection.
asking, do you want to cuddle, and trying these things when the stakes are so much lower than trying to like take somebody home and have a hookup, or trying to like jump right into like a relationship, which is a huge step to make. So I don't know, just throwing a bunch of weight behind these cuddle parties, because I've heard such good things.
Oh, yeah.
We had a good experience. The ones we've been to,
Yeah.
it's great. It's so good.
Yeah, just to kind of the kind of the setting was interesting because it was actually in a dungeon.
Okay.
Which, it's kind of like, the experience of the cuddle party set against like this BDSM dungeon. It was very interesting.
Yeah. It makes for a good story.
Yeah.
But I mean, the facilitator did a great job of kind of explain, as you meant, kind of setting the stage. And she was like, okay, now everyone break it into groups of 3. And everyone asks in within your group. Everyone asks the other 2 if you can do whatever, and the other person has to say no, even if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
That way, it's like you as the asker get used to hearing no, and then we take care of that. We clear out that fear of rejection. We get out all of your rejections now, so that when we actually start cuddling, then you can be more present when you do ask someone, and the other people they feel heard when they actually to say no, so that there isn't like that social pressure of the guilt of not. It's like, well, is this other person gonna feel bad if I say no? You get that out of the way too.
Yep. Practice saying no, practice being told no. Such important tools to have them. I'm curious, Ryan, how so you went to at least one. Have you been what's been your cuddle party experience journey kind of look like?
There was another one that I went to. I think it was like 4 or 5 months later. After that, it was actually held at someone's house, which was a little bit more welcoming. But in March this year, I had to move up here to Cheyenne, which is a very different as far as like sex positive stuff is concerned. So, but at that first one, I actually met a triad that I would subsequently get into relationship with. And I'll use the military phonetic to so it was Bravo, Kilo, and Papa.
Okay.
Bravo and Kilo were women. Papa, and interestingly enough, it was Kilo that was the one that was kind of pushing the other two to go out to more social stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So my first polyamorous relationship was in a quad.
Wow. All right.
Well, and they were all, like, you joined them, right? Yeah. Okay. This is, yeah. How did it go?
It became a V after a time. I'd say I initially started trying to date both Bravo and Kilo at the same time, and Kilo definitely, she needed more. I think we just had like a love language mismatch. Like with me, my top two are quality time and touch. And looking back, I think one of hers was words of encouragement, which are, it takes me some practice to be able to do so. It at the time it felt like she was like high maintenance emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't think is that accurate, to be quite honest. I think it was just a love language mismatch.
Mm-hmm.
And Kilo was also she was a drama whore. So Papa Bravo and I eventually, like, I'd say about like I'd say about a year later we kicked her out.
Wow. Okay. So it's so that's the first learning that non-monogamy is not necessarily easier, even though maybe it makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So how long were you in then the V dynamic after that?
So Bravo and I took some. We were friends first before we actually tried doing anything romantic. And then Bravo and I really started kicking off, and I started breeding. We started having these what we eventually called spork in the eye conversations, where, you know what, I'd rather be putting a spork in my fucking eye than talk about this, but okay, whatever. And there'd be the same conversations that I'd be bringing up when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
Again, full of anxiety, and it's just like, okay, this is gonna be uncomfortable, but I gotta fucking say it so I could just put it out there, and I'm not dealing with it all myself. And she had like nervous disposition, and but when I was done, it's just she didn't have like that. Like, where's the fire exit?
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's like, okay, let's talk about it. Wait, seriously?
Yeah. So this was was an example. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you said you were met differently. You were met with like curiosity.
Yeah. And our first it was easy to remember our anniversary because our first date was on Halloween. So that helped.
Yeah.
And then on our date night after we'd gone 6 weeks, she comes into my apartment, gives me this big hug, looks me straight in the eyes, like, I'm still here. Because I had told her, it's like, listen, I've had a shelf life about 6 weeks. So
Wow. I love that. And so you were able to put the cards on the table with her and say, here's what it's been like for me. And then you're able to have the relationship check-in conversations, even though you want to stick a spork in your eye, you were able to have them. And you two were able to keep that going. I love that. And so where does that take you, or the three of you, the two of you, however many of you are still in it at this point?
So I think that we had so Kilo had gotten more, like, had taken more leadership positions in the community, and of course, being the drama magnet that she is, that infected the rest. So I think by like 2013 we had essentially just pulled out of the community just because of all the drama going on, and also we were just we were like just dealing with the NRE that just okay, we just don't have the bandwidth for it.
Yeah.
And also once I in my 20s I knew that I was at least kink curious, but of course I mean it's tough to really explore that stuff when you've only after with 6 weeks. And I was also interested in tantra, and so it's like okay now. So it was like this kid in a very large candy store and dealing with NRE. We're playing with tantra, we're doing kids, and eventually I'm like, okay, all right, that's enough. Just deal with the NRE. We'll put the other two aside later.
Come back to that. We'll circle back around.
Well, I mean that was a plan.
Yeah.
And then both Bravo and I seem to do like tag team of like who was having either physical or mental health problems. And so that took up a lot of our bandwidth through the remainder of our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And throughout the rest of that, was it it was you, Papa, and Bravo sort of the remainder of that, or did it sort of become just you and Bravo for a bit?
Yeah, towards the end, it was more Bravo and I. Yeah, Papa went. I mean, he went downhill. Because he's an alcoholic, and he became pretty manipulative, especially in like the I'd say the last 4 years. And so just over time she pulled back from that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this relationship with Bravo was a few years, it sounds like.
Yeah, it was like 13 years.
Oh wow. Okay. I didn't really catch that it was quite a long partnership.
Yeah.
I love that. And what it sounds like a really formative experience for you. I mean, you made it well past 6 weeks. You got to have a lot of different experiences to really, I imagine, rewrite some of the narratives that you had been stuck with for so long.
Yeah. And honestly, we just kind of got on the escalator and got off on the cohabitation floor.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of us wanted to get married or have kids, so we're like, okay, well, neither of us were aware of radar. I don't know when that episode of Multi-Amory came out, but that is definitely one mistake that I'll own up to is not doing the steps necessary to keep the pilot light lit. So just use a figure of speech. But because the last I'd say 2 years we were essentially roommates.
Okay.
And just because because after spending time with Papa, there inevitably would be a like amount of time where I would have to help talk Bravo off a ledge, and that would take up some bandwidth, and it was just over time it was difficult to kind of keep that going.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah.
Were you and Bravo also, were you dating outside of that, or was it fairly a monogamous dynamic at that point?
It was pretty monogamous again, because because we I was dealing with a couple episodes of vertigo that required physical therapy. She had a whole cocktail, let's say, of of mental health comorbidities, because she bipolar. She also has PTSD from not so pleasant experiences from before we met. Who we just referred to him as asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Because of name collisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so that those things kind of fed together, and also we learned like how much like mental health stuff directly feeds into physical health, and so we're dealing with that a lot of the time, and so yeah.
It's a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's not a lot of extra room to be dating and exploring other relationships.
No.
Yeah.
No. Did you start, because you said you're in the relationship for about 13 years. Back at the beginning, or like those first couple years, were you dating others too?
No,
No.
because I was just this was my first serious relationship.
Yeah,
So
yeah. You're just trying to like
on that, just on that level, I'm like processing like what, like
so much.
just that.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Just like, okay, I can actually do. It's like I can actually do this.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
so that in itself, not adding like the not adding the NRE, the tantra and kink explorations, and so it's just there was just no room for me to be looking elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, which makes a lot of sense because I mean, yeah, like you said, this was my first relationship that lasted longer than 6 weeks, and like to be able to navigate that and be in that together. And also you are navigating non-monogamy too, in that even if you're not dating, because she had another partner, and so there's a lot of things there to navigate and to be in. And like you said, mental health, physical health, like it sounds like this relationship had a lot of layers, as the relationships do, but you're figuring it out as you go. And also it sounds like it was really good for you to be in that type of relationship for the first time.
Yeah, and I mean, like the first 5 years of that relationship, I learned so much more about myself than I did the 6 years of celibacy, of being alone with my own thoughts.
Yeah,
because I saw how I saw how Bravo and Papa were. I saw when they were having conflicts, what their conversations were, and then when after Bravo and I started cohabitating, and I know she was using totally different language. Like she was being a lot more specific and a lot more concrete
with you.
when she was talking to me, and I'm like, wait a second, there's something here. And I didn't mention at the earlier, but with my autism, it's late. I was late diagnosed.
Okay.
So during my mom saw it like way earlier when I was a kid. One thing she did that really helped. She had a poster on the fridge with like a chart of like very like dramatic facial expressions.
Yeah, like the
And
different emotions.
yeah, like perplexed, confused, sad, angry, and anytime I was acting out, she would just point to that chart, like point to the face, so that she would kind of know like what she's doing. So I mean, I'm sure that helped. But through my teenage years, through junior high and high school, I would tell my mom, I was like, Mom, I'm fine. It's everyone else that's weird. So
Yeah.
how do you like when that's your kid's attitude, like how do you like introduce the idea of like looking into like getting diagnosed with autism?
Yeah. Yeah.
and so that wasn't until I was 38 when I noticed this difference between how Bravo was do these conflict conversations between Papa and I before I actually saw that difference before. And by the time I actually started thinking, maybe I should actually look into this, because for like decades the only representation of autism for me was Rain Man.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, that if that's autism, that's not no, I don't have that.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah. Wow. So that was only 6 years ago then. That
hmm
wow.
Yeah.
And so for a large chunk of your your whole life almost, you were going through without necessarily knowing this and navigating a multi-year relationship while having to piece these things together. That's pretty intense.
Yeah, and just I didn't get like I didn't get go into a clinic to get like an official diagnosis. I just went online, and there's like a bunch of like quizzes out there that just give you like a ballpark figure.
Mhm.
Like there's a greater than however much percentage chance that you have these autistic tendencies, and the question is just like, okay, yeah, that's me. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's me. Let's be honest here. And kind of going down that is like, okay, yeah. And so it really put like a flashlight into like this dark closet I was in denial about for so many years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how did that feel?
Liberating.
Yeah.
Just because it was like this interviews for me are just torture.
Yeah.
And so there'd be like that's just one example. My love life also being another of like just coming up against these challenges, having no idea why, thinking I'm broken in some way.
Yeah.
And just it's like, no, you've just been trying to drive in the Himalayas with a Mini Cooper.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, your brain works just fine. It's just you can't go off roading with it.
Yeah. Well, and so I'm just curious, Ryan, moving forward from that point, I don't know what the right question is here, but like what changed for you? What were you able to start living or finding ways to live that like made more sense and felt better for you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and just knowing like, okay, I have I have these deficiencies that I can give people a heads up about, right from the beginning. There's and I took a cue from a show that should have had more than 2 seasons. Sports Nights. There's a character on there played by Joshua Malina called Jeremy Goodwin, and like it's almost scary how much like our behaviors match up. There's during an interaction, it's he's in a scene where he's meeting a woman at a bar, and he's like, well, no, you pretty much have to write it write out a sign and hit me upside the hit me on the side of the head with it for me to get it. So I'm like, you know what, I'll take that.
So you were able to like move forward telling people more of these things up front.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And how did that go?
Well, obviously, well, in over like over the past, 8 to 10 years, just like with polyamory, there more information has been coming out about
Yeah.
the autistic spectrum, and as far as like more the minutia of like, yeah, you may exhibit these traits but not these traits, and but that, and like to different degrees, and so it's so yeah, more information about it has been coming out, so more people are more familiar with it, and it's not it's not as much a, well, the only representation we have for it is Rain Man. It's like those days are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which again, what a relief, right? Like, I feel like this is another one of those where polyamory came into your life and you're like, oh shit, what a relief. I can relate like these people. And then this, you're like, oh shit, what a relief. I don't have to be Rain Man. Like, I have some other tools I can come to the table with. And so where does your relationship journey take you after your relationship with Bravo?
Last August, I started feeling, I guess, like a deep dissonance would be like the best way I could describe it. And in the back of my head, I hear like this voice, like, listen to this certain set, what is My Sisters and Brothers by Jerry Garcia Band, and it's just like, okay, that's weird. All right, I got work to do. And then a day or so later, the same all right, fine, I'll put it on. Which if it was like a Christian band that wrote this, take the same exact lyrics, but it was then, I mean, you could say that it was worship music. I mean, so it kind of had that kind of message. Within the first minute, my eyes are doing their best Niagara Falls impression. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's interesting. A couple weeks now, I'm a big Linux nerd, and so I've been using that since like 2014, and so I've been keyed into like privacy and all that. So I hardly see any ads whatsoever. Couple weeks after that episode, I start seeing ads for the site Visit Cheyenne. I'm like, okay, what's this ad doing here? And then later, I have a dream of camping by the Tetons, and then camping by Devil's Tower. I'm like, all right, fine, message received. And so I do some research, and Bravo and I start talking, and we both realize, okay, yeah, clearly God is pulling us in two different directions. And just because with her health challenges, she had to stay where she was. And actually, what couple weeks we were so tied up in our individual like moving plans and all that, we had to, like, we didn't have like the bandwidth for anything else. But a couple weeks ago, we actually had a call to essentially call out. It's like, yeah, we haven't like talked about de-escalation at all. And like she
But yet you moved apart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yeah, I know it wasn't your intention, but the fact that we haven't talked about this, I kind of feel like kind of throwing the last 13 years away, which totally wasn't my intention at all. It's just like, and so I mean, we had a really nice conversation there, and she's like, yeah, I didn't want to like move forward on like what our relationship looks like. I just wanted us to talk about it, the fact that we never had it. So
yeah,
who knows what happens there, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the two of you are still in communication, though, it sounds like.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You're figuring it out.
Yeah, we text back and forth every once in a while. video chat with one of my friends that I met in college years ago, and like every couple months. But we're both kind of going the solo poly route at this point. And the past couple months, I tried a couple months ago. I started putting myself out there as far as dating, and this whole like the way online dating is now is just like I feel like a 70-year-old man getting brought into the TARDIS. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And I met with essentially zero luck there, and it kind of hit me in the face that I'm currently in a polycule with me, myself, and I, and they're not very happy. So, myself wants to go out for, they've been neglected for a number of years, just because of a lot of I've had to drop a number of hobbies due to bandwidth taken up by the relationship, and also cost of living, stuff like that to cut. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on is repairing those that relationship with myself. So
I love that.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. And part of that, it sounds like, a part of that was the move for you in some ways. Like you made a decision for yourself to move somewhere that you're being called and seeing how it goes.
Yeah. And I had to stop driving like in 2013 just because Denver had just gotten so crazy as far as the traffic. And at that time I was working downtown, and there's no reason to take to drive downtown. So, and then I didn't realize how much anxiety the traffic was causing me until I stopped.
Yeah.
And it was just more optimized to use public transit and Uber than it was. And so now I live somewhere where you need a personal vehicle, and like the traffic here is like nothing. I'm like, okay, I could deal with this.
Yeah.
So and I'm sure they're not having a car is contributing to feel like lost personal autonomy, which I'm sure is part of this whole puzzle. And so
yeah. Well, I love what you said about repairing the relationship with yourself, and like having tried dating and being like, okay, nope, we got to do something different for now. Like, I don't know, that's just brilliant insight to have about oneself.
Yeah, there are a couple munches here in Cheyenne. It's a much smaller community, and I know that there's a more vibrant community in like northern Colorado and like Fort Collins area. So I'm planning on which that's like a 50-minute drive from here. And so I plan on exploring that once I do get a vehicle, and just start get because I haven't been connected to like a polyamorous community since we dropped out of what is it 2014. And like that's been like I'm sure like many things have changed in the 11 years since then. So
yeah, starting to slowly put yourself, like, take care of you, reestablish that relationship, and then get involved in more communities. And so yeah, it's a process. Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited and glad we got to talk today, Ryan. And just to kind of like put a bow on it for us, Is there anything else that you wanted to share out in the world? And maybe, you've kind of talked a little bit about it, but where do you see yourself going? Maybe are you looking forward to bringing in some of those kink elements that you've kind of talked about? I'm just kind of curious where you see the path taking you.
Yeah, I do want to mention that a couple weeks ago, I decided to start typographically vomit on on Medium about this, and like journaling hasn't really been a big practice for me, so it's more like kind of a personal accountability to make sure that I'm actively processing in this new chapter. So I emailed you guys the link. At this point I only have the intro post on my first post in July. So that's one thing I kind of want to put out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and links will be in the show notes for anybody listening.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
go
And I
find
think what
that.
a great way to process through things as this stage of life and share. So yeah, if anyone's like people listening, go check it out.
And also, as far I've been catching up on a lot on back catalog, and I've so as far as like final thought, I've actually been thinking about this a fair bit. So when I was 15, my dad gifted me Working Man's Dead, and at that, and I became a Grateful Dead fan like overnight, and over the years that became a lens that I kind of see life through. And so in this kind of improv form of musical performance, you're actually listening more so than you are like actually actively playing to like stay present with everyone else involved. And you can't follow a mistake off the wagon. Like during the transition from Scarlet Begonias into Fire on the Mountain, if someone's playing in the wrong key, you can't just start the song over as if nothing happened. You make adjustments and you keep moving forward. If anyone has any pretense about how they want the show to go, or pretending as if external influence isn't at play as far as like how they're playing and that kind of thing, it's incredibly obvious to everyone else, both on stage and in the audience. So I mean, so you kind of have to show up authentically as far as like what's happening in the moment. And I contend that these same principles will improve your all your relationships exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's not about doing it perfectly out of the gate, but about being able to like read it in as it's going and make adjustments along the way. Yeah.
And having more grace and compassion for yourself in that.
Yeah, that's been a difficult lesson for me to learn. I'm still learning it.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the club.
Yes.
There's a lot of us members in it. So
yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole peanut gallery in my head that places bets on which direction the hamster is going to run on the wheel that I have to contend with.
Yeah. Well, I just appreciate everything you shared today, Ryan, and for reaching out, for coming on and sharing your story with us.
Yeah.
And again, I want to thank you for creating this great platform, because there have been a number of just offhand remarks from the people that you've talked to. I was like, oh wow, never thought about that. So yeah, thank you for thank you for creating this show, and I'm really happy to have contributed to it.
Yeah.
Well, you're most welcome, and thank you for adding to it.
Yes.
It doesn't happen without people like you and the other 400 or so people who've reached out ahead of you. So yeah, thank you for being here, Ryan.
Yeah, Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing what happens here for you and where you go. So yeah, thank you again, and hopefully we'll be in touch and another time soon.
Yeah, that's good.
Awesome. Well, have a great afternoon, and we'll talk soon.
You too.
And we're back. Thank you again, Ryan, for everything today. Thank you for sharing. It was so wonderful talking with you. And just thank you for your vulnerability and for being brave to come on.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan, from my side as well. And a quick reminder to everybody listening that the link to Ryan's Medium page is in the show notes. So you can go check that out and follow along with his writing. And yeah, just again, thanks, Ryan, from my side for coming on and sharing your story. And let's see, what else? We've got some exciting events coming up.
Yeah, a couple of upcoming events. First of all, on November 13th, that's going to be our next community monthly workshop, virtual workshop. This is going to be How to Choose a Pleasure-Based Life with Crystal Baldwin. You can find more over on the workshops tab of our website. And then on November 21st, our virtual speed friending is back. You can sign up for that over on the events tab of our website.
Or on the banner at the top.
Yes.
Yep. And the last big date that we want to tell you about is the weekend of May 1st to the 3rd, 2026. That is our next in-person gathering. It is called Relationship Recess. We're actually co-hosting this event with the team from Multi-Amory, and we're bringing in a strategic play consultant.
Yes.
It's going to be incredible. So we're super excited about that. If you're interested in more, you can find a full program guide over under the community tab of our website. And you can actually get your early bird tickets on sale now if you join the community. So please do that. If you don't want to join the community, you can get your tickets in a couple of days when they go on sale to the public. But who wants to wait?
Go get your tickets now.
And we will see you in May.
And next week, we have another interview for you. Surprise, surprise. This one is super fun as well. It is with Rachel Lark. Rachel was last on the podcast on episode 307. And next week, she comes back and gives a whole update on some big life changes.
Big ones.
Yes.
What would you say, Emma, that the interview we did with Rachel this time is so similar to the one last time that it would almost be like they were twin episodes?
Maybe.
Would you say that?
Yeah, maybe.
You might say that?
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, anyway.
We'll leave it up to the listener.
We'll
Go listen to 307 and then
come next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get yourself some twin action. All right. And with that, we will see everybody next week.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.